Okay, welcome back. This is the Absol Hydreigon deck that got me top 16 in the tournament today. So I'm going to talk about a deck, breaking down the cards, and talk about why it's so good. Hey, I'm Skeleton Andy. I make videos about Pokemon TCG Pocket. If you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like, maybe give the channel a cheeky sub, and let's get into it. So in the end, I placed about 14th in the tournament. So there was also another Absol Hydreigon deck running the same deck in 10th place, a little bit ahead of where I was. So the deck itself is very straightforward. A lot of doubles of stuff. So we've got double Dano, double Hydreigon, and we've got one Chingling, because Chingling is generally good for just slowing down your opponent, stopping them getting into their evolutions, stopping them playing Pokeball, stuff like that. So you've got one Chingling, one Mega Absol. You don't really need multiples, and having more just increases the risk that you'll start the game with an Mega Absol inactive, which you kind of don't want. And this you've got 6 basics, so it's like you're reducing the chance of starting with that. I think the worst start you can get with this deck is probably going first with just the Mega Absol inactive. So the main difference we've got is we have Absol. So we are living in a bench sniping meta. Everyone's got, like, generally all the top decks currently have some form of bench sniping. So Mega Altaria, you have Jirachi. Blaziken has just come back into the meta quite significantly, running Heatmore. Also, like, some decks, they can run things like Elekid as well. And in the case of Dark, we have Absol, whose leap over is basically you do 30 damage to the bench. So what that does do is it lets you target the bench, it lets you delete opposing babies, and also it lets you control the bench, because it means that if, for example, if someone puts down this Dano at 60 health, if you ping it for 30, they had better have the evolution or healing, otherwise that's going away. So what often players will do is, if you have an Absol active, they won't put things on the bench until they know it's safe, which can slow down your opponent. And also it usually telegraphs, okay, they put this down, which means they know they've got the evolution to go into next turn. So you kind of get an idea about what they're thinking about. Also, it's 80 health, which is pretty strong. It's weak to grass. You don't really care, grass isn't that big in the meta right now. Hydreigon obviously does Hydreigon things, which is like, if this comes out on curve and if you go first, and then your first energy you go into Hydreigon, it just starts doing disgusting things. The issue always is, especially when opposing Megas, is if your Hydreigon has to, like, waste its attack on a baby or some other minor one-pointer, you're taking 30 damage, which puts it into, like, one-shot range for things like Blaziken. So obviously if you snipe something on the bench first, and then you Cyrus it in, then you bring your Hydreigon in, that can help starting the damage race on Megas or other big EXs. And also, one thing, the main advantage of bench sniping is that you don't have to play the game of trading with a Mega. For example, like the Mega Altaria deck, like, it's going to have Jirachi, Chingling, maybe even Indeedee. So you pick up the Chingling, and then you just snipe the Indeedee, and if they haven't got healing, as soon as you draw in a Cyrus, you just snap it up. So obviously we are playing Double Rare Candy. We don't really have room for the Zweilous, which you could include. One thing we do have, a lot of Copycat is just insanely good. Like, it feels so good when you just dump your hand and then play the Copycat. The other thing we have is Rocky Helmet, because chip damage is really fun. You can use it to abuse opposing Chinglings, except it means they can't hit you without knocking themselves out a couple of times. You can use it on your Absol or your Chingling, or pretty much anything to do additional chip damage. And for example, for a lot of EXs that are like 140, 150 health maybe, if they get hit by Rocky Helmet, that opens them up to getting one shot by the Hydreigon. And then we have Mega Absol. Absol is, if your opponent gets slowed down enough, like early to mid game, this thing can come out on curve and just clean up. Other main thing it does is, for one thing, you can get rid of things like opposing Cyruses. A lot of people only run one Cyrus, and with a Mega Absol, you might be afraid of getting hit for like 100 and then not being able to stay in, which is you can usually retreat, and that's a risk because you're playing the Cyrus, because your opponent might play a Cyrus. With the Absol's attack, you can hit them, get rid of the Cyrus, and then retreat freely the next turn. Also, another way it can help is, I think I won one game in the tournament literally because I went into my Mega Absol. So basically what I did is the Mega Absol was able to get rid of their Pokemon Center Lady. Then they had to drop themselves down to 120, and they couldn't heal it back up with the Pokemon Center Lady, which meant that my Hydreigon was able to just counter punch it and move it off the board. So a very strong deck. Definitely up in the A tier, I think. And I can only assume from the success this has seen in some tournaments that this is going to become more and more common in the meta. Okay, that's a deck. Maybe give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a like, maybe give the channel a sub, and I will see you later.